Today we are talking about winterizing your irrigation system if you live in a cold climate where the wintertime temperatures can get to freezing or below freezing. So here's sort of a standard depiction of an irrigation system. So you have the water coming in, going through your backflow preventer, and going down to your valve box and out to your sprinklers. This is sort of what a standard backflow preventer looks like. Sometimes they're also called backflow vacuum breakers as well. Come in different configurations, different sizes, but these are pretty standard, the ones that you'll see. Water comes in the bottom ball valve and then exits out the left-hand ball valve. So here again, ideally, this is the setup you'll have on your facility or your house, but not always. Water comes in on the left-hand side and then travels through your backflow preventer and then through your irrigation valve and then of course out to your sprinklers. Ideally, you can see in this picture just after the water supply valve is a T with a drain valve. If you don't have one installed like this on your piping system, you can easily install one. You would have to turn the water off, make sure you buy the parts ahead of time. If you have copper pipe, you don't need to solder in a T. You simply cut into the copper pipe with a tubing cutter and then buy a shark bite push to connect T, and you can install an inline T with a drain valve that way. The purpose of that drain valve is to drain the water between the water supply ball valve and the backflow preventer. The other T that you'll see in this graphic is after the backflow preventer. There is a T and an air inlet with a 1/4-inch ball valve and a 1/4-inch air fitting. That is where you can hook up an air hose from an air compressor. And again, if you don't have that set up on your system with the water turned off to your system, you can, if it's PVC pipe, you can glue a T in place. If it's copper and you know how to solder copper pipe, you can solder in a T with a valve and an air fitting. Or like I said, if it's copper pipe or PEX pipe, you can use those shark bite push to connect type fittings. If you don't have a T, don't want to install a T with an air fitting and a ball valve, another option is you can hook up your compressed air hose to the petcock, sometimes called test cocks, on the side of the backflow preventer you see there. There's 2 petcocks, and that's another way to introduce air to blow out your sprinkler system. So the method for blowing out your sprinklers with compressed air is basically you turn the water off to the sprinkler system, open the drain valve to relieve the pressure and drain the water out between the shutoff valve and the backflow preventer, if that's applicable to your piping. Open the 2 petcocks in the backflow preventer, manually open the farthest zone ideally, and then work your way back to the nearest zone. If you only have one zone, open zone 1 sprinkler valve manually. Then you close the outlet ball valve on the output side of the backflow preventer. Attach a compressed air hose to the air inlet T and open the air valve. Air should not exceed 50 psi, especially if anywhere in your sprinkler system you have polyethylene tubing, for example. Plastic tubing can't withstand as much air pressure as PVC Schedule 40 pipe can. Even with Schedule 40 PVC pipe, ideally you don't want to go much above 50 psi for safety. Could go up to 70 or 80 max. So again, allow all the air, the compressed air, to push all the water out of the zone, and then repeat that same process for however many zones you have. The graphic on the right shows what should happen when you open the zone and apply compressed air. All the water inside the piping should blow out of the sprinkler heads. And once no more water comes out, again, close that valve, move on to the next sprinkler valve, zone by zone. Leave both ball valves and both petcocks on the backflow preventer at a 45-degree angle when you're all done blowing out your system. And be sure to disconnect the air compressor hose immediately. Don't leave it hooked on there because you don't want to be building up air pressure in your PVC pipes. Turn off the sprinkler controller for the season. Now, an alternate second option, if you have auto drain valves installed throughout your sprinkler system, they look like this, as you see in the graphic on the right. Then you would turn the water off to your sprinkler system. Again, open the drain valve to relieve the pressure and drain the water out between the shut-off valve and the backflow preventer. Open the two petcocks on the backflow preventer and leave both the ball valves on the backflow preventer at a 45-degree angle. And the auto drain valves will automatically open when the water pressure drops to 5 psi or less, and that'll drain out all the water from your sprinklers and piping so they don't freeze and burst. Also, you'll find sometimes inside the valve box, the valves have a manual drain valve or a cap you can unscrew to drain the water out of your sprinkler control valves. And remember to turn off the sprinkler controller for the season. These auto drain valves you can buy at Lowe's and Home Depot. You can see from the graphic they need to be installed in the lowest points possible on your system. The third option is manual drain. You can see here in this image what the manual drain valve installation looks like. So basically, below grade, you would have one of those green plastic covers where you can reach down inside and open your manual angle valve or a cock valve, depending on how your plumbing is set up. And that should drain into a gravel basin or a gravel pit underground. And so you can see from this image that your PVC pipe should sit slightly above your drain valve. So when you open your drain valve, you do indeed drain all the water out of your piping and your sprinklers. And then once all those drain valves are open, leave them open for the season. Remember to leave the two ball valves and the two test cocks on your backflow preventer at a 45-degree angle all winter long. And same thing, remember to turn off your sprinkler controller for the season. So just to clarify, this is how the valve should look all winter long. Again, both ball valves are turned at a 45-degree angle. Both the screws on the petcocks are turned at a 45-degree angle as well. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, and leave me a comment for future video topics you would like me to cover.